Alright, we are past Sonic's 35th anniversary. However, we are getting a ton of more updates and releases as we go through the year. Hello everyone, I'm OCDsaster, and this is OCDsaster Blue, my Sonic exclusive channel where everything we do here is Sonic related. So if that sounds like something your speed, consider subscribing and checking out some other videos after this one. Now, everything I'm about to mention in this video is speculative and a rumor, so please take with a giant grain of salt. It comes from a semi-reputable source, Daniel RPK, who does a lot of movie leaks. He has a lot of sources and information that he reveals. Sometimes he's right, sometimes he's not. So please consider that when listening to this report. It might happen, it might not. We will have to wait to see once we start getting trailers and more information regarding Sonic Movie 4, which comes out on March 19th, 2027. So Daniel RPK put out a tweet saying he was going to have some big Sonic Movie 4 news that he was going to be releasing soon, and then someone just took that and ran with it and came up with a fake story that's not true. Once again, this part is not true. However, I low-key kind of hope it happens to a degree. We know that there's no evidence behind this, but someone commented saying that the news was going to be that Silver was going to be a secondary villain in Sonic Movie 4 like Knuckles was in Sonic Movie 2, and he would be voiced by Steven Yeun, who, if you don't know, is the actor in The Walking Dead, but also the voice of Invincible from the show Invincible. And guys, I'm not going to lie, although this was just a joke and like a gag and there's no actual source or anything out there about this, I kind of love this idea. I mean, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Personally, I think Silver is going to be in this movie. I have no evidence around that, but I just think the story that I think they're going to be telling needs Silver in it, and if they don't and they just switch him out for Amy or for Metal Sonic, it's going to be a disservice. So I do hope and think that Silver will be kind of like a side villain or a side character. Maybe he just shows up for a few minutes and gets his own thing a little bit later. But Steven Yeun, that's completely not true, but I actually really love that idea. I think he would do an amazing job as Silver. But this was just a joke, so if you see people running with that, it's not true. There's no evidence behind it. We don't know if Silver's going to be in the movie, and we definitely don't know who would be voicing Silver if he even was in the movie. Another rumor that was not spread by Daniel RPK was that there might be a trailer for Sonic Movie 4, like a teaser trailer, right in front of Street Fighter, which comes out in October. That lines up with marketing and the timeline for when a few months later Sonic Movie 4 releases, so we'll just see about that. But let's get into what Daniel RPK actually said, because it's quite interesting. He tweeted out that Shadow was going to be in Sonic Movie 4, which is something that we already knew, but he mentioned that he would be the Knight version, the Lancelot Knight version from the Black Knight. And that poses a lot of questions, really, because my interpretation, based off of some concept art for Sonic Movie 3 that they didn't end up using, and some other deductive reasoning, was that this movie was going to take place in an apocalyptic future, in which Eggman's rolling with Metal Sonic and Amy's coming back to try to fix the timeline, kind of in a Sonic CD sort of story and adaptation. But having Shadow as the Black Knight doesn't fit, because if it's time travel, Shadow was never a knight, and he wasn't in the Sonic movie timeline either. That's way before Shadow was even created, so that doesn't make sense. So then that leads to the question is, are we doing a multi-dimensional type of movie? Are we doing Sonic Prime, but as Sonic Movie 4? Because if that's the case, I have a lot of opinions, and they're not all great. So yeah, let's talk about this. One, I love Shadow in the Black Knight. I like Black Knight as a game. I think it's very underrated. I think if they did a remaster of it, I would be absolutely happy. Out of the storyteller games or the storybook games, that one is the best. It's got the most unique gameplay. It's got the best story. I think Sonic's at his utmost charisma, and I really just like that game a lot. I think Shadow's overall design as Lancelot is really, really cool. However, also in the storybook, it's not Shadow. These are just versions of the character. It's like an alternate reality look and feel. Think of like American Horror Story, where some of the actors replay different roles. Like Shadow's likeness is being used, but it's not actually Shadow in the storybook. So I don't really know how this fits in at all, if this is a true thing, because once again, this is still a rumor, but I am quite confused on how that's going to fit in. And then if it's a multiverse story or an alternate timeline story, I'm really concerned that we're getting too much of that right now. I understand that the creators said they wanted to do an Avengers level like Sonic movie for Sonic Movie 5 and do like a bunch of crossovers and do what the MCU's doing, but I genuinely think a lot of us are getting really tired of that, especially with Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars on the horizon. They're going to be doing a lot of multiverse stuff because they're wrapping up the multiverse saga, and they proved that they could not do the multiverse saga correctly. And with Sonic Prime already doing this concept, I don't know if this is what fans want. But I can really only speak for myself, so I do want you guys to let me know down in the comments. Do you care about multiverse and multi-dimensions in a Sonic movie? Do you want it to keep it in its contained universe for now? Or do you think they can already kind of jump the shark in the fourth movie and kind of go to where we think they're going with this? When it comes down to it, I think that story is the most important part, and if you have a tight story and the time travel multiverse really fits into that story and that narrative and the character arcs, then maybe it is possible, but it is a trope that has oversaturated the market, and we've seen it very recently, not just with other IP, but with Sonic as well. So the time travel I can kind of deal with because an adaptation of Sonic CD, you got Metal Sonic in there, but if it's actually like a full-on alternate universe, alternate timelines, multiverse thing, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see once they actually release a trailer what's going on here, but I am not as thrilled with this news. However, it is bittersweet because Shadow as Black Knight Shadow as Lancelot is a really, really cool concept visually. And then we have one final kind of like leak sort of for Sonic Movie 4, and that's a toy collection. They were releasing a bunch of toys that are going to be coming out, and it's nothing surprising. It's like Sonic Chaos Emerald, Sonic and Tails, Metal Sonic with like a ray gun, Shadow, but one of the final sets that they're releasing with the toy line is called Neo San Fran, and a lot of people are speculating that that's going to be this future apocalyptic world in which Eggman is ruling with Metal Sonic, but only time will tell. It sounds really cool regardless, and I just can't wait to see more stuff as it comes out. But what do you guys think about these rumors and leaks? Let me know down in the comments. Once again, I really do hope Silver does show up, and I would not be upset if Steven Yeun was the voice of him either. I don't think that's actually going to happen, but I think that was a funny joke that I just really hope actually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, but there's no evidence behind that. What do you think about Shadow being the Lancelot version from Sonic the Dark Knight? I really don't know what they're going to do with that. That's quite confusing to me. And then last but not least, what do you think about San Fran being this post-apocalyptic sort of world? But with that being said, I'm OCDsaster, and I hope you have a super Sonic rest of your day. See ya.